Wait, this is a post from Miley Cyrus's brother?
What?
No girl that lost me has had their life improved by me no longer being a part of it.
Donated a kitty to him and then got cheated on.
Ooh.
I was gonna say that's not what Jesus would want you to do. Welcome back, everybody.
Dynamite intro, Mrs. Lush. Always crushing it. Are you familiar with what a nice guy is?
I'm a familiar.
Leave that in. Try again.
Don't you dare. You know who runs this ship.
Oh, okay. You leave it. Try again.
I'm familiar with what a nice guy is, but not a nice guy.
Ah, okay. So, nice guy could kind of be synonymous, I guess, with incel in some ways.
Excuse me?
Well, it's the guys who think that they're God's gift to earth and that they're not like those dudes that just want to bang girls and they offer them everything, but they just can't seem to lock down a female. Well, because they don't really have any self-awareness and don't understand that their obsession with themselves being nice makes them just kind of weird and possessive and controlling and not very nice because they typically flip the script and go super psychotic when girls reject them.
Okay, that was a lot.
That was a little bit too much. I like to get a little wordy in my
How about we
explanations.
just watch some videos?
Let's look at some clips. This is a good introduction to what a nice guy is. Let's listen from this TikTok user. Get you up to speed here.
The only thing scarier than a guy who is just like actively rude to you in early dating is a guy who claims to be a nice person. And what I mean by that is there's this concept of like nice guy behavior where men feel owed your time, attention, or romantic interest because they're nice. And if you don't give it to them, they rage. Because, surprise, they're not actually nice. So, like, some guys will just be outwardly shitty towards you. And that, you can just see it. But the nice guy thing, it catches you by surprise. Because here you have this guy saying, he's not a boy, he's not like other guys, he's so kind, he's a nice guy, he doesn't know why girls don't like him. But then if you date him and change your mind, decide you're not interested in him, it's like immediately he's going to play the victim in every way possible. I'm such a nice guy. This always happens to me. Women don't know what they have when they're with me. I'm just so nice is like the thing you'll hear over and over again. And honestly, if you have to tell me over and over again that you're nice, you're probably not that nice. And actually being a kind person means doing things for other people without expecting things in return.
Accurate.
And like being nice with ulterior motives does not make you nice. So again,
Also
it's like
accurate.
the nice guy thing. Oh, I'm so nice. I'm so kind. I don't know why women aren't interested in me. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're not interested in me? I think you're a terrible person and you're a bitch and go hang out with boys.
I like her explanation.
I thought it was a very good explanation because
She did a nice job. She painted the picture for me.
I've known some gentlemen like that throughout my life. I've worked with a handful of them. They just can't figure out why they can't, it's like, because girls just...
Can't nail down a girl because I'm such a nice guy.
Yeah, girls just don't know what they're missing. I'll take you out to, I'll massage your feet at night and I'll do all these things. But the second a girl's uninterested, it's like, oh, you dumb blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's very toxic. But let's get a couple examples of what's going on here. All I know is that she's right. Being nice isn't ever expecting something in return. It is just being a genuine person.
Right, and you shouldn't have to tell me.
Yeah, and if, there's this girl that you think is cool and you're interested in her and you're nice to her, but she's not interested in you, normal people would be like, okay, that's okay, move on. I'm sorry that we aren't compatible. But instead, it usually flips a switch and turns psychotic and they're all like self-loathing. Why, it's always the same. All you girls do is like, guys, other good. Very strange. This is a classic Reddit post from a nice guy. Basic female relationship tip for confused guys out there. The average woman isn't interested in intelligent, respectful men. They're basically just looking for someone who can protect them from other men. I actually have to act dumb and chauvinistic to attract women because they're not interested in a grown man. They want a chimpanzee with attention deficit disorder.
Yep, that's what we want. That's definitely a you problem.
Exactly. Women don't like me because I'm too quiet, polite, and respectful. I have to behave like on stimulants if they're to find me attractive enough to mate with. Sad they don't like me for who I am and that I have to put on a charade of ignorance to attract their attention in between listening to Mozart and painting rare oil paintings in my in my library. That kind of symbolizes it though. Like he's so obsessed with how smart and amazing of a catch he is, and he's so intelligent that he could never mate with a mere mortal woman. So he has to act like a chimpanzee on stimulants. It's like, brother, maybe you're looking in the wrong place for women, because there are plenty of women that can appreciate respectable, quiet men that are intelligent.
And that's a fact.
This is my story of how I dated the nice guy, donated a kitty to him, and then got cheated on.
Ooh.
So I met him through a mutual friend. She met him.
Did she say she donated a kidney to him and then got cheated on? She said, oh, tough deal, too. Let's see.
Through church. He was super religious. He was Christian.
Here's your side.
He went to church every Sunday. I think he was a youth pastor, and he was part of the worship band thing. I thought
Checking all the boxes. Newsflash, he cheated on you because you didn't love God enough. So you didn't worship hard enough.
maybe, I never dated anyone who was religious, so I thought this could be good for my well-being for some reason. I remember from one of our first dates, he gave me a book.
I love that. I'm not a religious person, but maybe if I date a religious person, like that will help me go to heaven or something. I don't know. Listen, I know plenty of religious people that are fantastic, but they're still human. And I know plenty of religious people that are dirtbags.
How dare you bring logic into God's house?
For sure of the number to call to donate. Obviously, I felt obligated to get tested because, yeah. So the surgery happened. Everything seemed to be going well. And then literally 6-7 months after the surgery, he goes to a bachelor party in Vegas. Then he comes back straight to my house and admitted to cheating
Guilty
with the
conscience.
bachelorette party. So yeah, never again.
There's a lot going on in that story that needs to be covered.
She gave the 1-minute version though.
First of all, how long were you dating this man to give him a kidney?
About an hour.
How serious was this relationship? She made it sound like, oh yeah, like he's a church pastor and we dated a little bit and then he needed kidneys. So I was like, all right, fine. Unless there's a ring on my finger and I know I'm spending the rest of my life with you, I'm gonna...
I mean, people donate kidneys to strangers.
It's true. It's true. I mean, maybe they were really like in love, maybe, and then
Who
it was just,
knows?
yeah, I guess. But then, yeah, to get a kidney from your girl, and then he goes to a bachelor party in Vegas. Which, first of all, if you're a youth pastor, what are you doing going to bachelor parties in Vegas?
Right.
All right,
That's just not what. Oh, I have a lot to
that
say.
is
I cannot
that
say what I want to
is
say.
that is a Jesus finger wag right there. I am so sorry. What were you going to say?
I was
Go
going to
ahead.
say that's not what Jesus would want you to do.
You want to go home and rethink your life.
You better take off that WWJD bracelet, my friend. So went to a bachelor party in Vegas and then cheated on her and then immediately went home, got that Jesus guilty conscience and admitted it to her. Sorry, I'm going to keep the kidney though. Is that cool? Ratted.
No tixie backsy.
Yeah, that's less of like the incel nice guy and more just like
Dirtbag.
scumbag. Yeah, scumbag move.
Go ahead and block me, bitch. I don't want to read all
Yeah,
that.
hi, yeah. Read that.
No.
Read that sentence.
I mean, the whole thing's going to be like beep, 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 beep.
It is.
beep.
All right, fine. Go
All right,
ahead and block
block-
me, bitch. You're a stupid alcoholic stoner loser who treated me like shit even though I was nothing but nice to you until now. I'm sorry that sentence was mostly beeps, but you get the gist. Like every other young woman nowadays, no matter how nice I am to you, still treat me like fucking trash. Granted, I didn't have any genuine emotional interest in you and I really only wanted to you, but you didn't know that. As for your insanely stupid and ludicrous idea that you're somehow too young for me to be talking about sex with you, you're 18 fucking years old, you stupid. That is legally an adult in my country, and I know for a fact that it is a legal adult in your country as well. In fact, I know that the age of consent in Iceland is 15, so even if I were younger, it wouldn't have mattered. When it comes to not giving a shit about your interests unless they're intellectual, of course I don't. Most non-intellectual interests are boring and not conducive to conversation. You told me that your major interest is crocheting. How the am I supposed to be able to talk about crocheting? You're an extremely reckless, irresponsible, immature, hypersensitive, unintelligent loser who will never amount to anything significant. You're only good for and nothing more.
Mr. Nice Guy.
Sounds like someone you'd want to spend the rest of your life with, huh? He probably just DM'd her like, hey, what's up? And she ignored him for like a few hours by accident. And then that's always the classic one where like the nice guy is like, hey, where are you? How you doing? And then they don't get a reply for 3 hours and go on a unhinged tirade because they can't handle it. Yeah, I'd say you dodged a bullet. I'm not saying it's easy to be in the dating game right now. We talk about this all the time in dating theme videos where we're happy we're old, crusty, married people. Because dating in the digital age does not look fun for anyone looking to find a serious partner. However, it still is not an excuse to act like an unhinged weirdo if someone doesn't respond to you or if someone doesn't show interest. Just move on to the next.
This is now the second time this has happened to me, where a guy has paid for a very expensive dinner and it all of a sudden starts to feel like because you spent $300 on a dinner for me, I feel like you now expect something from me. He calls an Uber.
Probably
and
a
I'm
common
like,
problem.
I'm going back to the apartment.
yeah.
So we go back to the apartment. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to call an Uber so I can go home. And he's like, no, call it from my apartment. Let's have one more glass of wine. I'm like, no, I'm going to call one more glass of wine. I'm like, okay. So we get up to his apartment. And of course, I know what's coming. And for context, at this point, we have not like had a romantic touch ever. We're still very much in that platonic feeling. I kind of feel like we're just friends, but I like hanging out with you. And I know I'm going to get up to that apartment and he's going to throw a Hail Mary. So we get up to the apartment and I'm like distracting myself with this cat. I'm like, oh, your cat's so nice as I call my Uber. And then all of a sudden it goes from like negative 30 on the Zaza Zoo scale to like 120. He is up in my grill, trying to make something happen. He's like, you don't want to make out with me? You don't want to make out with me? And I'm like, this guy, I don't want to paint this guy as like some sexual predator.
Got it.
But I was very much like not into it. I was like, no, I want to go home. And he kept pressing and pressing and pressing.
Ugh.
Sounds like a
And it
sexual
really
predator.
frustrated me because I've been raving about how nice of a guy this is. And all of a sudden we ended on such terrible, terrible terms. He texted me when I got home. He's like, I think we're just on different wavelengths. I'm like, you think, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, no Sherlock.
And he was like, your loss. And I was like,
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't care what transpired back to the date. I don't care if you thought you were and now you're naked in the apartment and all of a sudden you change your mind. If you don't want to do it, it needs to be respected. End of story.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious. Not for some people, though, unfortunately. This idea of the dinner date, again, how many times we talk about the dinner date?
5. I've lost count.
It sounded like it might not have been a first date, like they had known each other, maybe they were friends. But as a dude, it's wonderful if you want to court a woman and take them out to dinner and pay for their dinner, and that's fine. But you can't have this expectation because I paid, now you owe me some sort of physical gratification.
Absolutely.
No, if it happens, that's great. If it flows naturally and she wants that and she's ready for that, congratulations.
Right, but why would you want to force it?
Why do you want it to be transactional, right? But I think it's pretty obvious, like when she was vocal that she didn't want.
She said multiple times, I want to go home. So that's your cue to back the F off. She's tired. She wants to go home. Whatever it is, she's done.
Rip a couple rounds of Mario Kart 8. But if you are going out to an expensive dinner because you expect on that specific night you need to get laid, then that's just a you problem. Then you're weird for that.
This is the story of how I
Another
was
story.
extremely gaslit and only found out about it today on my lunch break because I was speaking to my therapist. On Sunday, I was put in this group chat, right, of like 4 different girls, and they titled it, We All Talk to, let's say, Bob. Now, mind you, one of these girls, not the one that created it, was already watching my stories all weekend that I brought up to Bob because that's weird. Anyway, the creator and I start talking because she has some details to share with me that, I feel like I should know. I eventually decide to bring it up to Bob without disclosing any information. He told me that I'm crazy for speaking to someone about this instead of trusting him, because if I truly loved him, I would have just went to him immediately and ignored all these girls. Loved. I have known this man for a total of like 12 days. Even if this is your husband, you're gonna at least hear someone out. So like, anyway, he said he can't move past the situation and thinks that we should no longer speak anymore, but that it's a very hard decision for him because he likes me so much, but the trust is broken on the side that I broke the trust.
Woof.
I was under the impression that the girl that started the group chat, was he like in all of their DMs probably?
Probably,
So
that's
they
the
started,
vibe I'm getting.
Not uncommon, probably, obviously, for guys to act like that on social, like be in the DM of as many girls
I'm
as
not
possible.
sure what the point of
Keep
the
your
whole
options open.
watching their stories thing, because probably the other girl found out, oh, you're dating Bob too because I saw him in your story.
Yeah, and guess what? He's been talking to me and all these other girls. He basically got caught. Like,
Yeah.
But again, 12 days, it's weird on both sides because it's like he brought up the word love after 12 days, which is insane. On the other side
He
of it,
loves
it's
himself
like
so much.
if they've only been talking for 12 days, like it's not unthinkable for him to have some other conversations going, unless there was some sort of like, oh yeah, we're exclusively dating.
Sure.
Yeah, 12 days is just not, that's less than 2 weeks. That's not enough time to do anything.
At some point, there's communication about it.
An understanding, hey, we're dating, which means let's stop talking to other people. Yeah, I'm not looking for other
Canceling my
options.
Bumble account.
Yeah, like the second I was like, yo, we're dating, you actually threw your phone in the fireplace.
Exactly.
Yeah, right on the spot.
I couldn't.
I forced
I had
her
to cut off communication from the outside world.
Yeah,
completely.
hasn't talked to her family since either. Yeah, she doesn't actually leave the house.
I see this as an absolute win.
Wait, this is Miley. This is a post from Miley Cyrus's brother.
What? Genuinely feel bad for any girl I've been with that has to live with the regret of losing. There's girls I've dated even over a decade ago still trying to get another chance with me. Some of them are in new relationships and have had to settle for what I know they find less desirable, but they've settled for what they can get. There are beautiful women everywhere, but there actually aren't many good, attractive, hardworking men with high values and morals. Ladies, if you find one of these men, do all you can to hold on to him. Don't allow petty emotions and irrational decisions to cause you to lose a man that truly loves you. Any man who thinks highly of himself and knows his value will have no problem walking away from a relationship if he isn't being treated with the love and respect he knows he deserves.
No girl that lost me has had their life improved by me no longer being a part of it.
Got it. Yeah.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say just the fact that you posted this to Instagram completely negates anything you've said is cool about yourself in this post.
Like, does anyone see this and
Like he's probably
agree with that?
He's probably so butthurt about an ex that he's like, I'm gonna post this and she's gonna feel like such an idiot. And like he's still obsessed with her and she probably doesn't want anything to do with him because clearly he's a raging narcissist. I mean, when you come from Billy Ray Cyrus's family, who knows? You've probably had an interesting life to say the least. The fact that Miley's recovered from being a drug addict and actually makes some pretty fire banger tunes. God bless her. Her brother didn't share the same fate. He's now a weird cringe poster on Instagram.
I kind of want to know what he looks like.
There's a few of them.
Oh man, never
Oh
mind.
God, please tell me it's this one.
Oh, it has to be, right?
It's definitely Trey Cyrus.
It's gotta be, right? Wait. It's gotta be that one,
It's
right?
definitely Trey Cyrus, isn't it? Oh my God.
We're probably gonna get corrected. Someone's gonna be like, no, it's the other brother.
Yeah, that would be the weird
All
emo
bets are on him.
Yeah, it would be the weird emo nice guy that thinks he's the wild. That one was awesome. Well, sweetheart, I hope you don't get sick of how amazing I am because
never.
I don't use Facebook much, so I can't post to my wall about how amazing I am all the time, but I hope you get the picture.
Oh yeah.
You got yourself a nice guy.
An actual nice guy, not a nice guy.
Not a quotations one?
Yeah.
Perfect. I don't have to prove it to people on the internet. Very good. Oh, thank you guys so much for joining us. As always, we can't wait to see you in the next video. Don't forget.
Be a nice person.
Yeah. Don't forget to be a nice person, which involves not having to prove to people on the internet how nice you are. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.